right there. See it? So on that basis, if everybody agrees with me, if everybody 100% agrees with me that these are now key levels, do you also agree that the key price rejection is going to be around about 113? Or sorry, the 13s, yeah? Everybody can see this price area here. And we just go down into the box area here to start thinking about the sell trade at that point, right? Bottom edge of a bracket, top edge of a bracket, bottom edge of a bracket, target price, 13s. I mean, there's nothing unusual about it. There's nothing special about it. When I know that that's the area, does everybody agree that the price areas that I'm now paying attention to on this chart, the price areas that I'm now paying attention to on this chart are now very, very simply obvious? It's going to be this area here. It's an area. And it's going to be this area here, which is going to be around about the ones to the zeros, right? Because we've got that big wholesale price at the zeros. And it's also going to be about this price area here. There it is. There's your market structure. There's your market structure, guys. Okay? So when the price then trades through to that price and it opens with this incredible break off 39, which looks like a gamma hedge trade off 39 short position, is it reasonable that when the price opens at the electronic restart at 13s, that's an automatic sell trade? Is it reasonable to think that that's the automatic sell trade right there? Of course it's reasonable. It's not only reasonable, it's what everybody should have had on their charts already. You should already have had that level. So when you've got that idea and you see it coming back up and you say, my God, this is incredible, Ray. How do you ever come up with these things? How do you ever see these types of stories? And you see it pins here, it pins here, it pins here. It broke the bottom edge and pinned again. You can see it's finding buyers in these areas here. You can see it's finding those buyers coming back in as we break the stops at 39, as we break the stops at 39, as we break the stops at 39. And it finds those buyers coming back in, and you say, well, it's just what we teach in the classroom every day of the week, isn't it? It's just what we teach. You can see the bracket measures coming into place. You can already recognize the current structure of the market, which kind of makes perfect sense. Top to bottom at the moment, this is starting to become a new level. It's like what I was talking to Mike about, is this idea of readjusting your current strategy around this. So when I see that, I can start to look at it and say, well, if that was the top tick price there and that was the bottom tick price here, it makes sense for me to look at that as a market structure. Well, guess what the bottom price was, Mary? Look. If that was the change of behavior right there, and it goes buy side into a sell side, you know that there's going to be so many buyers at 97 3/4. You know there's going to be so many buyers at 97 3/4. You know it's going to bounce off of that price, right? So you already know it's going to come in here and bounce at that point. You also know that it's getting capped at 5.5. These are the new levels. Now, I shouldn't have to tweet these. I shouldn't have to send these out in tweets. Because everybody should be seeing them, everybody should be doing them, everybody should have been aware of that 13 sell in the first place. Everybody should have been aware, obviously, of 39 evens, but equally, everybody should have been aware of 9 3/4. If you're actively working your market structures, then you're always aware of new developing stories that might provide you with an opportunity to step into a brilliant trade. You could see on the right-hand side from last night's tweets, this isn't hindsight information. I tweeted the 13s last night. I tweeted the 01s last night. Before they happened, before the 13 even sold. Before the 13 even sold, we already knew about that trade, didn't we? If you're missing the obvious stuff, if you're missing the blatantly obvious stuff that's on your charts, then you're giving away an awful lot of free, perfectly good information, structural information that a lot of people dismiss as being too basic and too simple. But it's not, is it? It's not complicated. It's not hidden from you. It's not anything. It's just simply the key areas that you'd expect to see business getting done in. When you add those to your ideas, when you add those to the narrative, you make great decisions. It's as simple as that, guys. You make great decisions. Talking of great decisions, oil's just traded up into this looking area up here. We've hit the exit zone for the break on the measure, so we're in taking profits at the 85s anyway. So that live room call was worth $600, by the way, guys, $600. And when you look at that, Mary, you can see exactly the same thing. You see exactly the same thing at that point. Look. So we bought into this. We bought into that measure to the downside. We'd already talked about that. Bracket low to bracket high, and then the breakdown to the 25s. Now we've got a bracket high here. So when we've got a bracket high at 60, we can already recognize where the target price is. It's going to be around about 88, isn't it? It's going to be around that area. So when I come up with that target price, I just draw the top of the pink box there, and that's my sell zone right there. That's my sell zone. It might be a sell zone to get short. It might be a sell zone to exit my short trade. It might be a sell zone to simply just take some profits, but it's a sell zone. And one of the things I definitely do is I always do something in this box. I always try and get a little bit of business out of here. And that's exactly what's happened this time round. We've just came into that box perfectly, and immediately that we've come into that box, I'm sure Sam's taking some profits at that point. I'm taking profits at that point. And, you know, everybody knows about this area right here. Everybody knows about this area right here. Everybody. Now, obviously, that area there brings in a wholesale price of 57 with it, so 57.50s. So there would always be the chance that you might be running the stops, and that makes this area quite tasty for liquidity as well. So this is something that we're paying attention to in here. Now, this price here isn't an exact price. Remember that. It's not an exact price. We would look at this as a box area, 80s to 88s or thereabouts. It's not a line in the sand. It's not a line in the sand. When we give a price on the tweets, for example, it doesn't mean if you hit 13s, it was a sell side below and a buy side above. It's simply an area around which we would expect to see selling bracketing out if we're going to be trading into the overnight session. It's an area that we would expect to see selling. Why? Because everybody that was long from the US close would be taking profits at 13s. Therefore, it became very obvious that 13 would be a short trade. That's what you do, guys. That's what you do. It's not that difficult. Is it? It's not that difficult, Jack, is it? It's not that difficult, Mary, is it? So you can see we've just got back up to the top edge here. And you can see that that's another area that you would take profits into that same top edge just there. And all it is, again, is that market structure. And that's a good profit take location for that trade right there. And what's going to happen here, guys? What do you think is going to happen? You're going to get pin rejections. You might even get a sell-off. You know, it might clear it. It doesn't make any difference. It's still going to be a profit take for you guys. Always. You don't second guess it. You don't wait. You just take profits. Take some of your money. Take some of your monies. Get into the habit of saying, thank you very much. That's paid for my trading today. Take your monies, get some profits, and then whatever happens next, you can deal with it. You can add to it, you can take it out, you can muck about with it, you can spread it, you can turn it into butter, you can put it in a big shaker and mix it up. Whatever you like, you've now got the option to do that.